Hi guys, welcome again to my YouTube channel. It's Joanne here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to cut this Bubu dress with a drawstring. So if you're interested in something like this, kindly stick around and watch this video today. And don't forget to like and share this video if you find it helpful. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. Turn on your post notification bell for more videos. So without wasting much of your time, let's get right into the tutorial. For this tutorial, I'm going to be making use of this African prints. So what I have here is 2 yards, and if you want to have enough fabric to walk around with, like if you want to have your pockets, you want to make use of 2.5 yards. Okay, so now I've noticed that I folded this fabric into 4. I'm having both the front and the back block here. Okay, I'm having both the front and the back here. I'm going to be drafting them together, and this part here is the folded part. So whatever measurement I'm going to be taking will be from the folded part, okay, going towards the side that is open. Now I hope you understand. So I have already marked the start point line, also known as the shoulder line. So I'm placing my tape on the start point line to determine the length now. So the length I'm working with is 40 inches plus 1 inch, which is 41 inches. So the 1 inch I'm going to be using would be for the hemming allowance. Okay, so the 1 inch I added will be for the hemming allowance. I hope you're clear. So coming back here to the shoulder line here, I am going to be marking the bust point line. I'm going to place my tape here on this line here to determine the bust point line. So the bust point I'm working with is 10.5 inches. I'm going to be making a mark here. All right, on the bust point line, I'm going to be making a mark. I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side here to enable me get a straight line. So now I'm going to take my straight rule to connect these 2 points into a straight line. So that line there is now my bust point line. I hope you're clear. Now after I got this line, I am going to now come back here to this shoulder line to determine the sleeve length, the shoulder measurement and the sleeve length. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 8 inches. I added extra 8 inches for the sleeve. So the total measurement I got from this folded part was 16 inches. So I'm going to go ahead now to impute 16 inches. Okay, so I just marked 16 inches there. That is for both the shoulder measurement and the sleeve extension. Hope you're clear. So this, what I'm cutting here, is a cut together sleeve. Hope you understand. So once I was done with that, I'm going to come back here from this center line, center front here. I'm going to be marking the neck width. So the neck width I'm working with is 3 inches. That is like the basic neck width. So on this point here, I'm going to be determining the shoulder slope, which is 1.5 inches. I'm going to now come here and connect the shoulder slope to meet to the neck width. Using my straight rule, I'm going to be connecting these 2 points from the shoulder slope to the neck width. Okay. The next thing I'll do now after getting this shoulder slope would be to come down here from this point here and determine the sleeve length. So the sleeve length I'm going to be working with is 10.5. So from this shoulder slope, I marked 10.5 inches. So for you, you want to determine where you want you have your sleeve, but you want your sleeve to be very free. Okay, so now I'm going to be placing my tape there to mark 10.5 inches. So after getting that measurement, I'm going to also connect this to me to this other end here. So this now is the new bust line. Hope you understand. So this line I just drew here is the new bust line. Okay, so from here now I'm going to also measure what I have from this center line to where the shoulder slope is. I'm going to be marking the same thing on the new bust line. So measure what you have from this center to where you have your shoulder measurements, shoulder slope measurements. So repeat that same measurements here on the new bust line. So I just marked that measurement there. So whatever measurement I have on the shoulder is the same measurement I'm imputing on the new bust line here. Hope you're clear. So now after doing that, I'm going to also come back here to the bust line here. All right, I'm going to come back here to the bust line. I'm going to be coming in here by half of an inch. This is to enable me have a nice shape around the sleeve area. Okay, so I'm going to be connecting from this shoulder slope to that point I came in by half of an inch. So having done this, I have gotten the sleeve length now. And now I'm going to come back here to the bust. On the bust point line here, I am going to be taking the bust measurement divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches. That will be for ease. You know, this is a Bubu dress. So if you want yours to be very bogus, you need to add about 3 inches, okay, 3 inches or 3.5 inches to your bust measurement. So after doing that, I connected it to me to this sleeve line I have here. So next thing I'm going to do will be to repeat these measurements here like this. Okay, measure this up, whatever I have, just mark on this other part here, on different parts of this the length here. Okay, mark on different parts of these bodies to down to your length. This is to enable you get a straight line. So now I'm going to use my straight rule now to connect these points that I marked earlier into a straight line. So I was checking if what I marked was correct, and is fine. So I'm going to now also repeat the same thing here to ensure that what I marked was correct. So I'm going to now use my straight rule to connect these points like this into a straight line, as you can see. Next thing I'll do would be to come back to this shoulder line to mark the neck. Okay, so I had earlier marked the neck width, okay, 3 inches. All right, so I'm going to come down here and mark the neck depth. So I'm going to start with the front neck depth. So the front neck depth is 8 inches. All right, so I came down here by 8 inches. I'm going to also use my slight curve like this to like get a v-shaped neckline. Okay, so I'm like getting a v-shaped neckline. So also do the same thing. So after marking this, you know, I am drafting both the front and the back bodies together. I am going to also mark the back neckline. All right, so back here on this shoulder line, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inches. That will be for the back neck depth. I'm going to also use my curve here to connect it to me to the neck width. As you can see, I have gotten both the front and the back neckline. So first and foremost, I'm going to be cutting the back neckline. I'm not going to be cutting the front first. Cut the back neckline first. So what I'm doing now is that I'm adding half of an inch. That will be for the stitching allowance on the shoulder part. And for this sleeve here, you know, I only marked my sleeve length. I did not add allowance to it, and even on the side I did not add allowance to it. So I'm going to be adding extra allowance to it when I'm cutting this out. Okay, so I'm cutting the neckline first, then the shoulder measurements, then to the sleeve I'm going to be adding about 1.5 inches to that measurement. Okay, so to this part here, to the side, I am adding 0.75 inches. Okay, so yeah, that is it. Then I'm going to take out the back bodies. So take out your back bodies before cutting the front neckline. Okay, so I'm now going to arrange this properly and cut out the front neckline. I've cut out the front leg line, and this is looking very beautiful. Let me open this up for you guys to see. So next thing I'll do would be to cut the facing for both the front and the back block. Okay, so I'm going to cut the facing off camera for both the front and the back block. I have cut the facing for the fronts, and this is what it looks like. So if you're cutting your facing, you have to follow how the neckline is, and you know add extra allowance for the down on the down part, and just cut it out so there's nothing to eat. So you see the way I arranged it, just arrange it that way and cut out your facing. So I'm going to be stitching the neckline. All right, so place the facing. This is the right side of the main fabric is facing me, so place the right side of the main fabric facing you, and the right side of the facing the main fabric, and you're going to be securing this with your pin. Go ahead and stitch down by half of an inch. Okay, stitch down by half of an inch. Then after that, I'm going to also fold in this part. Okay, this down part here, I'm going to be hemming this down part here. Okay, so you're going to be hemming that down part to facing the wrong side, and afterwards I'm going to be ironing this properly. So back to the back block, I'm going to be also doing the same thing. Open this up like the right side is facing me, and also place this facing right side, facing the right side of the main fabric, and I'm going to be securing this with my pin as well. Okay, secure the neckline with your pin, and after that you're going to be making a stitch around the neckline by half of an inch. Okay, then I do the same thing by folding the hem. Okay, fold the hem to face the wrong side. I hope you're clear. So now after I was done with that, this is what I have here. Okay, this is what I have here. This is the neckline, is looking very pretty. So this is the back neckline. As you can see here, I use my hemming gum to iron it down so it doesn't move. Okay, so you see that you use your hemming gum to iron the facing down, or you can go ahead and use your thread and needle to make a tack on it. All right, so yeah, this is the front part. This is looking very neat. I did not necessarily make a top stitch around the neckline. Okay, it was looking very neat already. I did not need to make a top stitch. Then I stitch the shoulder as well. Okay, by half of an inch. I stitch this other part of the shoulder too by half of an inch. So after sewing your neckline, place the right side facing each other, the right side of the front and the right side of the back facing each other, and sew your shoulder. Basically, you're going to be making your stitch on the wrong side. So for the sleeve part, I folded in the allowance. Like this. So whatever the allowance you have for your sleeve parts, just fold it in and iron it properly before going ahead to run a stitch on it. I did the same thing for this part here, as you can see. So I'm going to take it to my machine and run a stitch on both sides of the sleeve. Okay, then after that, I'm going to be placing the sides together like this, and I'm going to be running a stitch by the allowance I kept. I'm going to be running a stitch, right? Okay, so after that, after running a stitch to the close to the hem, I am going to be folding in, like hemming the down parts. Okay, I'm going to be hemming the down parts. All right, so stitch your, you see that you hem the down part first, or you stitch the side together close to the hem line, then stop and hem the down part, then before you go back and continue with the stitch on the side. I hope you're clear. So now this is what I have after I made that stitch. I went ahead to give this a very nice press. So please, whatever you sew, please always make sure you iron it properly. So this is what I have on the hem part, as you can see here. Okay, so I left that part like that because I'm going to be attaching a drawstring on that part on the side. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back to the wrong side and show you guys how I'm going to be attaching the drawstring. So yeah, this is it. I'm going to be attaching this drawstring on the side here. So open up your seams, all right, and I advise you open up your seams and iron, so that when you're fixing your drawstring, it will be a lot easier. So this is the string I'm going to be using. I cut a long strip of about 20 inches long. So what you're going to do is that cut a long strip of about 20 to 25 inches long, and also the width should be 1.5 inches. Then folding and sew, and leave about half of an inch like what you've seen me done here. Okay, so now I'm going to be determining where I want to have my string. So from the hemline I came up by 10 inches. This totally depends on what you want. So if you want to have a shorter dress after drawing your string, you can go up from the hemline by 15 inches. So I just repeated the same thing on this other part here. I came up by 10 inches. To place your drawstring, you're going to fix it in such a way that you have excesses coming down from the hem part. Okay, like what I've done here. Then place your drawstring and extend your drawstring by like half of an inch from the point you marked earlier. Okay, from the point I marked, from this 10 inches point here, I'm going to extend my drawstring by like 0.5 inches. Okay, then from there I'm going to be using this seam here to cover it up, and I'm going to be running a stitch from this hemline here, run a stitch over to this side, then run a stitch back to this other part of the hemline. Okay, on this other second part of where I have the drawstring. So when you're sewing this, ensure you fold in like this. Okay, fold in like this to make it look neater. Then run your stitch from this down part here, from the hemline, run your stitch, cross over to this side, and also run your stitch back to the hemline. That way you've secured your drawstrings. After sewing, this is what I have here. This is the wrong side. Let me show you guys how I made the stitch. So this is how I made the stitch here. All right, hope you guys can see clearly. I ran a stitch from how I explained it. That's the same thing I did here. And let me draw the string here. So after drawing the string, you can see that it is well secured. So you have to secure the top part where you have the part you marked. Okay, you have to secure your string using your stitch it down. Okay, I hope you understand. Then I did the same thing for the other parts. All right, so yeah, I'm going to turn this to the right side and show you guys what I have on the right side. So for this it seams here, I'm going to be using my overlocking machine to overlock it neatly. All right, I'm going to overlock this side as well. So after that, that's it guys. I'm going to turn this to the right side and show you guys what is looking like on the right side. So this is it. This is what it looks like here on the right side. Just making sure to cut out any dangling threads I'm seeing here. So yeah, so this is it. This is looking very beautiful guys. So if you want to have a pocket, feel free to attach your pocket. So I did not necessarily need a pocket for this dress. And after that, go ahead and add your tassels. Okay, so add your tassels to this. So I did not buy that, so I'm going to be attaching that later. I needed to post this so that you guys can see. So yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial. I hope you're enjoying this tutorial. I hope you like it. So guys, just drop a comment, tell me what you think about this tutorial. Tell me if you're satisfied. Let me know. Okay guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for sticking around and for always believing in me. Thank you for always coming back here. I really appreciate you guys. See you guys in my next one. Do have a lovely day.